Express permission, obligation, and prohibition using modals. Modal verbs help when speaking about ability, making requests and offers, asking permission, and more. The modal verbs in English differ from other verbs because they are not used separately and do not indicate a specific action or state. They just reflect its modality, the attitude of the speaker to the action. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, also called helping verbs like can, will, could, shall, must, would, might, and should. After a modal verb, the root form of a verb is generally used. The word to should not appear after a modal verb. An exemption is the phrase ought to, which is considered a modal verb. What are the modal verbs? According to EnglishStudyPage.com, they are auxiliary verbs that provide additional specific meaning to the main verb of the sentence. Modal verbs are sometimes referred to as modal auxiliary verbs because they help other verbs. Let us have these examples. Can. This shows ability, doubt, astonishment, permission, polite, and request. May. This shows permission, supposition, without, if not prohibition. Must. It shows obligation, firm necessity, logical, conclusion, and probability. Shall. Shows intention and supposition. Will. It shows wish, desire, will, confidence in the future. Ought to. It shows moral duty, insistent advice, and strict recommendation. Need. It is used to show necessity. Have to. It shows unwillingness and forced circumstances. And last, would. It shows wish, polite request, and a habit of a past. Modal of permission. Use the modal verbs of permission, can or could, to indicate whether someone has permission to do something or not. Use can to say that someone is allowed to do something, and cannot or can't to say that they do not have permission to do something. Let us have these given examples. Can I use your email account to send my report? I forgot my password. I cannot open my own account. In this sample, the speaker asks permission. Next, number 2. You cannot do that alone. Let me help you. Sentence number 2 shows that the speaker is not permitted to use the account. That is why we use the word cannot. Use of may and might. In popular usage and speech, may and might are used interchangeably when referring to possibility and probability, but there is slight difference between the two. May is used to express what is possible, factual, or could be factual. On the other hand, might is used to express what is hypothetical, counterfactual, or remotely possible. Here are the sample sentences using may and might. First, I might watch another episode. You may bring a partner to our event. He may have been. She might tell us what happened if we ask her. It might rain this afternoon. We may be invited, but I'm not sure. They might go to the beach this weekend. So what have you noticed with the given sample sentences of using may and might? Okay, very good. So when we are talking about may, there is a possibility that something will happen. And if you are using might, you are not so sure if it will happen or not. Okay, very good. So when we are talking about may, there is a possibility that something will happen. And if you are using might, you are not so sure if it will happen or not. Modal of obligation. There are two types of modal verbs of obligation: those that primarily express a firm obligation or necessity. We are using modals such as must and have to. Those that are express a recommendation or obligation, you will be using should and ought to. Let us have these given examples. You must follow the rules and regulation. We use the modal must to show personal obligation. Next, we have the riders have to wear seatbelt when driving. We use the modal have to. It shows the general obligation. How we use should and ought to in the sentence. We use should when we want to say or ask what is the correct or best thing to do. It is a way of asking for or giving advice. In this meaning, we can also use ought to instead of should. The difference is that ought to is stronger in meaning. Let us have this given example. You should follow your heart in making a decision. You ought to love your parents. Modal verbs can only use for prohibition. These situations are the opposite of giving permission. This modal verbs for prohibition lesson shows you how to use may and can to prohibit someone or create rules. The modal verbs used are may and can. They are used as negative, such as can't, must not, may not. Use of modal verb can't or cannot. Can't is the most common way to prohibit something in English. It is not as formal as must not or may not, but is the most common. Here are some examples. You can't drive here. You can't wear a hat in class. You can't smoke in the office. Can't is normally used to show inability, but in these examples, it shows prohibition. It is like you are saying you do not have the ability because of the rules. You could also ask questions about the rules. Can I smoke in here? Can I park my car here? Now, let's look at two more formal ways to prohibit something. Prohibition may not. May not is the formal way to prohibit something. Here are some examples. You may not smoke in this house. You may not wear shoes in the office. You may not eat in the conference room. Like can, you could ask questions about the rules with may. May I smoke here? May I eat in this room? Because may is the most formal, you will often see it in writing. Finally, let's look at the strongest way to prohibit something. Must not. This is a third way you can prohibit an action or make a rule against something. Here are some examples. You must not use a cell phone. You must not write with pencil. You must not play music. Unlike the first two examples, you can't ask questions about rules with must. Let us try answering this. tell whether the underlined phrase expresses permission, obligation, or prohibition. Number 1. Passengers must not play music or talk on this part of the train. So where is that? Write your answer. Very good. The correct answer is prohibition. Next, number 2. You can't rent a car without a credit card. Write your answer. And the correct answer is prohibition. Next, number 3. You have to show your ID before you can enter the place. Write your answer. Correct answer is obligation. Correct. Next, number 4. You can sit here. The seat is free. Write your answer. Very good. That is permission. Next, number 5. I must hand in all requirements before Friday. Write your answer. That is obligation. Very good. You got it all correct. Complete the following sentences using appropriate modal verbs. Number 1. When you are a teacher, you blank teach your students holistically. Write your answer. And the correct answer is must. That is your obligation as a teacher. Next, number 2. Citizens blank follow the health protocols to avoid COVID-19. Write your answer. That is should. That is general obligation. Next, number 3. We blank face mask and face shield in public places. So that is should. That is general obligation. Number 4. People blank smoke in public places. Write your answer. And the correct answer is must not. You are prohibited to smoke in public places. Number 5. Students blank manage their time carefully when taking a time test. Correct answer is should. It is general obligation. You blank bring all your friends in my party. The correct answer is may. You are permitted to bring all your friends, or there is a possibility that you may bring all your friends in the party.